Hello, sisters. Welcome to the season 2 of the Rising Feminine Online Temple, which is a 7 days initiation for women to journey back to their true essence. My name is Janita D'Souza, your feminine lifestylist, and I'm also the keeper of this online temple, where I have gathered leading visionaries from around the world to join forces and initiate you in your authentic feminine. And a big part of my work as a feminine lifestylist is to invite women to indulge into everyday rituals so that they feel nurtured, nourished, fulfilled in their daily busy lifestyles. So, as part of this online temple, I invite you to create a sacred container, maybe light a candle, grab your journal, give yourself this time for yourself to receive these offerings of the teachers present in this online temple because each one of them have a very special message for you. Joining us today is Mia Saenz, where she will share with us how love changes the energy of your story. And I must say, I've been following Mia's teaching for quite a few years, and Mia also has been instrumental in making my medicine visible to many women when I was just starting out. And I'm so excited. Before we begin our juicy conversation, I would like to read a little bit about Mia to you so that you get an idea about her sacred work as well. So, Mia Saenz is a love alchemist. As a third generation metaphysical practitioner, Mia learned the wisdom of healing and prayer from her well known grandmother. Mia is the self love teacher for anyone who feels alone, yet dreams of knowing the joy of a love soaked life. Through her work as a love teacher coach, Mia has discovered the depth of love on all levels. Love truly is the gold alchemist we are seeking. Working through love changes the energy of your story and opens the connection to have all of life's purposes flow, which includes money, love, and abundance. Mia works with people whose desires is to grow in their spiritual path, building a concrete foundation in all areas of life. Mia teaches love mastery and the spiritual elite with mystics and their natural gifts. In addition, Mia is also a media host and the founder and editor-in-chief of Bella Mia magazine, which is a transformational, holistic, living well magazine. Mia, welcome. Yes, me too. I'm so excited to talk to you. And can you hear me?
I can.
Yes. Okay. Great. Yes. Yeah. I'm so excited to talk to you, and it's been a couple of years since.
Yeah.
So before I jumped into our conversation, I did a small meditation just to tune into our energies and also what the conversation today is about, love. And I pulled up a goddess oracle card. I want to share that with you. And it is Butterfly Maiden. And I think she's a Hopi goddess and she's about transformation. And I think she talks about your experiencing. Oh my God, I can't read. It's inverted.
You are experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings.
Yeah. And this is so apt with what we were sharing before we just started our conversation, even like so many things are happening. So I just want to quickly check in with you how you feel about this goddess showing up. Do you feel any resonance in this moment or not?
Well, my work is transformation.
Yeah.
So for you to pull that while talking with me, it's perfect because each and every step we take in our own self-development, our own self-growth, or as I love to call it, self-love, is literally a transformational state. We're choosing apples or bananas, chocolate or vanilla. So we're making a choice. We're making a choice to change, to shift and grow. So that card is right on, sister.
Yeah, right on for today's topic as well. So I know a little bit about your story since I've been following your work. And I'm sure the women watching would be interested to know a little bit about how did you get into this sacred work? Where did it all begin for you?
I love that. Do you hear an echo on me at all?
No.
Okay. I hear it in between, and that's okay. I'll know that it's okay. So, like everyone, it started at birth, literally. It started at birth, and it moved on from there. I don't have to get into the nitty gritty, but I'll just say it really quickly, just because I've worked and changed the energy of my story. And I say this stuff so much, but there's stuff that I want to come through right now that's so important. So I came from I'm the fourth child. I had a twin, and she died at birth, which forced my birth. We were both illegitimate sisters, so to speak. I was born 3 months early, so I was born at 6 months. From the very moment I was born, there was a lot of uneasy, unrest, dysfunction in my upbringing. Now, you would think that a woman, I'm a third generation metaphysician, so you'd think that a woman raised in metaphysics would live her life differently. Well, she was very young, bless her heart. Just now, that was a healing moment. Just now I realized my mom was 23 years old, and I'm number 4 of children. So she really had her plate full. Wow. Thank you. This was a beautiful healing just right there even. We add layers on to our healing as we go along.
Yeah.
So I was raised in metaphysics, and my grandmother was just this dynamic, amazing woman that everybody knew, amazing healings going on. And I used to go with her as a child to see, back then they called them patients, now we call them
Okay.
And I used to go with her, and we're talking about, I was born in the 60s, so the 60s and 70s, and then she retired. So she started way back, I think, in the 40s. And so it was so powerful to see the words, the love, and the transformation coming out of her mouth and supporting other people and how their lives were changing. Not so much the coaching style, but more on the practitioner level. And so I do both. And there can be nothing, different that I would do. This is the most magnificent experience. It took me a long time to get here, and that's okay. And those of you who are watching that are perhaps entering your 40s, going into your 50s, even your 60s, it's okay. This might be your specific time. Check your numerology, check your astrology, and that'll help support you moving forward. This was planned out this way. The masses of women today are older that are changing the world. Now, when the Dalai Lama said that, it wasn't a mistake that he said that. He was foreseeing what was coming right now. We're talking about 20 years later almost. What is coming right now is this massive stream of these great women. Yeah, we all are great. I'm not saying I'm great. I'm saying we all are. So this arm in arm of this sisterhood coming together saying, we're here, you're there, let's go, literally. So that's the beauty of the work that I do. I mean, that sounds so like it's nothing. Well, we change trauma, we change stories. Changing the energy with love in your story is literally going in, and there's work on my site that can be downloaded for free, or work with me or ask me questions. Right? I talk to people all the time without them coming in as a client, but they follow my work. So changing the psyche of who we are, or the psychological development of the human being, is about the inner being, the inner child. So there's processes up there and work to do, and other deep work to do. So it's about changing the energy of that story, not living in the fear anymore that keeps us active in fear. It's about bringing in love and operating from the space of love and compassion and giving and all those places, with knowing how to take care of yourself first, because you've put up your boundaries, you've healed yourself, you've raised your emotional intelligence, and now you get to play in the big leagues. It's fun stuff. It really
It is. So for the women listening, when you talk about changing the energy of your story to love, what do you mean when you say story? Let's get specific there.
So when I have many stories. So when I was a child, I'm going to give you 2 stories. Now, first, I have to lay the work here, the groundwork, by telling you, please don't write me and say, poor Mia. You can say, wow, that broke my heart, or thank God you've changed, or something, or you've grown. But the point is this is the showing of the transformation. This is the butterfly card that you just pulled. It's not about, we have to get out of the energy of poor, pitiful me. I'm not a victim. I'm a thriver. I used to be a survivor. First I was a victim, then I became a survivor, and I'm a thriver. I've been a thriver for 10 years. and the words I fought to get here. I'm proud to say that. I'm a warrior priestess because not only have I taken my lineage of my, as you asked me before, Janita, about, when did this first start to develop? As a child, I had these mystical gifts. And people would just be like, how do you know that? How do you, people, I used to freak people out all the time. And it's about embracing who I am, So changing the energy of the story. For example, we utilize the inner child meditation process that I've created. So as you listen to it, I take you down and relax you and relax you and relax you. And there's all sorts of stuff to be aware of before, which is in the instructions. But you're going to go through this experience with me where I help you bring out the little girl that you once were. We start at age 3 and we go through 17 to rewrite history, or we can even utilize this for current trauma purposes. The point about changing the energy of the story is, as you meet that little girl for the first time, you're going to bawl your head off, guys. I mean, because I just have to say that, because really deep down inside, you love yourself as much as you would love your child, your newborn baby. And you don't realize it. We don't realize it until we do the work and we connect to ourselves, our inner spirit, our guidance. And then we're like, wow, this is really dynamic. So for me, my first, and remember, again, I said my mother was dysfunctional and that she didn't exemplify being metaphysical or anything like that. And that's okay. That was her journey. And I see that. The journey of an individual is highly valuable. It's the most important thing. So there was a huge satanic beating that I got when I was 4 years old and then locked in the closet, and she made my siblings participate. That's all I'll say. So when I was in that closet, I would talk to God, literally. I had a relationship. My grandmother taught me well. I had a relationship with God. I knew that God was my true father, mother, and that this was my human mother. And I would talk to God and say, I have to go to the bathroom, or I really want to get out of here. I've been in here a long time. I'm scared. And I would manifest an opening. My grandmother would stop by. She never came to our house, but on occasions like that, she felt me and she came. My brother came home from school early once and let me out. I mean, it was just sick stuff. But the point is that in this meditation process, I went in and I started doing this work to heal myself. I started when I was 23 years old. I'm 55 in a couple months. So, it's a long time that I've been studying self-love and sharing with the world. So as I went into, this story came up, obviously, as I'm going down and meeting the younger me and I'm loving her. This painful experience was there the entire time, but came up. And as I stand in the presence with my younger self, in that visionary imagery that we're creating, I am loving her. She is not scared anymore. One, she sees the developed, emotionally intelligent woman that I am, or even the fact back then that I was an older being that loved her. They kept saying, I am you and you are me. And this is not true about the truth of who you are. It removes the fear. It removes the stress. It helps to remove the PTSD even. And so as you go through that whole process that I take you through, it's 22 minutes. It used to be 53, and clients were like, that's long. So as you go through this 22-minute process, it's all about the healing of you and the expansion. There's a surprise thing in there that I'm not going to share on air, but I take you to another space where you can support the inner being, the little girl, with so much love and happiness. And then I teach you how to separate from her, keeping her secure and safe so that you both feel good till you go back in 1 week. Now you wait a week always with major work because it has to integrate into our psyche, into our system. We're not just souls. We're not just spirit. We are blessed to have this gorgeous human body. So our psyche is body, mind, and spirit. We need it to absorb and integrate into our entire system before we move on. There are people that love that process that I have and do it every single day. And I'm like, just give it some time to soak in. You'll see things will come up. And there was another one. I was kidnapped when I was also about 4.5, 5. There was a lot of family dysfunction going on. I was kidnapped by my father and my natural father. And so, that's another one I had to heal in there. I wasn't gone for very long, had the best time of my life, thought it was creepy. Until my mom showed up, freaked out, scaring the crap out of me, trying to bust down doors, that kind of thing, calling the police. So it is what it is, you know. I remember, and I choose to not remember the fear that my mom provoked on me when she found me through the screen door at my uncle's house, because my dad placed me over there for a while, you know, for a day or for a couple hours. I don't remember. I was 4.5, 5. I just remember big old things, you know, like we do, flashes of memories and things like that. And so my mom scared me more about the whole situation, trying to get me back, than the situation itself. I had the best time. Little children don't know that they're going through these experiences until the adult scares the hell out of them, right? Here I was just with my daddy, and I do have to say that part of my story is my father was married to someone else when my mom got pregnant. They both left their spouses, came clean, left their spouses, couldn't get together, but my father's wife was still in his life, his first wife. He loved her. They were best friends since they were high school sweethearts. And so he was much older than my mother. He was 44 years old when I was born. Back there in the 60s, that's pretty old.
Wow.
He never had any children. So he knew that she would take care of me when he was at work. So I remember her and I loved her. But the trauma that happened afterwards is what created all the the trauma is what created all the drama in my life, or the drama created the trauma. They both are a married couple, trauma and drama. So people wonder why we have so much drama in our life. It's because we've had trauma and we have to feel. We have to feel something because we're so closed down, we've disassociated from our bodies and things like that, that's why we produce this drama in our life until we say no more. You know, so that's how important the inner child meditation process. I could give you so many horrifying things. When I was an adult, a young adult, I got married at 18, but when I was a young adult and started seeing the therapy going on with my sister and then eventually myself, what was brought up was you children should not be alive today. You children, so I remember this, you children should not be alive today. And so I take these blessings of what happened in my life, not to poor, pitiful me. Do I look like a poor, pitiful me? No. It's like, look, we're changing the world. I do what I do simply because I love, and I know that I am not alone, that there are, even if you take my 5% rule that I started talking about 10 years ago, there's been articles written on it. You almost hear me in every single interview, and it's very important. With over 7 billion people on the planet, so let's just take 7 billion. You take 5% and you divide it by 7 billion, and that's 350 million. So there's 5% of the population that are identical to us, that will love us. And then you've got the spectrum like a rainbow that goes to the other side. So it could be 5, 10, 15%. Can you imagine the love you can get, the abundance, you know, if you're a man or a woman, the connections to somebody that could be a possible mate, the income coming in. All this 5% rule shows you it's about expansion, transformation. It's about changing the rules that were once put on us to see the reality of how things are. So in that 5% rule, I know that there's at least 350 million people that feel that depth of abandonment or hurt or pain or loss. So that was my first realization when I shifted my life 10 years ago, was I am not alone. There are others out there. Holy smokes, I have a lot of work to do. You know? So that's how the energy of our story is changed. If I can just talk about the psyche really quick and the subconscious. Our subconscious, I call it the ironclad door. Oops. So our subconscious is literally just everything that we've absorbed in our life. And so it's there to support us, to protect us. It's regurgitate stuff out. And so what we need to do is change our thought patterns, change the patterns of beliefs, change our mindset. And so as we implement new information in, what we're doing is we're trying to override, like we're organic computers, override the subconscious, the mother master computer that doesn't know what the heck she's doing, override the subconscious in order to reproduce then out these positive things, these changes. So changing the energy of your story is literally, what do you want to believe? Do you want to believe that a banana will, bring you $1 million? And it could if you have a great invention with it. Or do you want to believe that, this piece of gold might bring you $1 million? You have a chunk of gold and a banana. Which one do you think will bring you $1 million? your whole family's told you that the banana is going to bring you the $1 million, but you realize that the value is in the gold. So what are you going to do? You're going to choose the gold over the banana. If they're both free and they're right in front of you, you're going to choose the gold. So it's the same thing within yourself. Choose the gold, the smoothness, the freedom that you want to believe in. It's changing the energy. When you support yourself, that younger being, take away the fear. What are you doing? You're bringing in love. You literally are raising your emotional intelligent level. We all know, we're all hearing about emotional intelligence, right? Like emotional codes and this and that.
Yeah.
So I've been working on the emotional intelligence with people for over 10 years. And so you literally are raising, so you have 2 support systems within yourself, 2 side by side. You have the adult Mia here, who's grown and done everything she could to be as best she can. Great, that's fabulous. I'm working, hello. Then I have my raised, my newly developed emotional intelligent level. And so when I can put them together, I'm functioning really well, right? But then there's times when trauma sets in, or fear, or PTSD, accidents, whatever, or somebody scares the crap out of you at night, you know, and you're just like, why? And you're not thinking for yourself. What happens is the emotional intelligence comes back up, and it remains, while this part may go down as a child. And so you will be surprised when you hear a voice or something talking to you. Don't do that. That's not you. Or move fast, you know, whatever. That support system is there. It's happened to me on several occasions. It happens to my clients. You have to develop who you are. So what I'm saying is, when you change that energy and you work within your, you know, system like that, you're really re-raising who you are. And it's fabulous. It's incredibly fabulous.
So, yeah, I totally get it. And doing the inner child work, I must say, has been very fruitful for me, because first of all, it never gets done. You have to, I feel like you have to constantly be, you know, doing and revisiting your inner child. And I believe that when I started doing the inner child work, a lot of memories that came up for me, which I as an adult have forgotten, but they were causing the drama and the trauma in my current life, you know, like as you said. So I can really vouch for like how important this work that every individual should do is to go back and revisit their inner child, because a lot of things began there and it's showing up now. So for women who are watching this and they really like the idea that you say, like, okay, change the energy of the story. What can you say on a practical level, on a day-to-day basis? Let's say, like, you know, I wake up and suddenly something bad happens, or this trauma shows up again. So what would you suggest in those moments?
So here's the overall in a nutshell. And I'll address that too, what you said, because it's in here. So as you begin, if you want to make a change, and I know that my free gift will be this book that I'm offering you guys, and we can get into that later. But inside that book, if you really want to change your life, it's Mirror, Mirror, a step-by-step guide to a life that loves you back. If you want to change your life, I support you. I encourage you to download it for free, to start to use it, because the things that change our life are the self-love technique that connects us to ourselves. So we always disconnect from our body. We become disassociated with our bodies. So we have many elements we have to break through. We have to break through our mind, our body, the spirit that is guiding us, not our soul, but the spirit. And so as you do your self-love work, literally, I'm talking about not dabbling in bathtubs and things like that. That's fabulous. You got to do that self-care work. Self-love work is the inner growth, like I am the Terminator type thing. And that's how I feel like I become. Like, I'm here to help you change that stuff, whether it's on shows like this and you do it and you just write and ask questions, great. You know, I'm the first to say you don't have to work with me in order to use the work. So breaking open who you are, so it's like a shell, we're opening that body, that shell, and allowing our soul to project. We cannot be in touch with our soul essence, truly who we are, until we get rid of all these limiting things about us, the body disassociations and all that. The mirror work is the #1 tool that separates us and opens up that space, connects us to love, the I love you. Now, I teach it different than other people, and I suggest if you haven't been healed with it, try my method. I have new clients that say, but I've already done that. I'm like, I don't care, you haven't done mine. And so they do see the difference. It's in a 3-part free video series on my site. Download that. You get the instructions for the inner child, the meditation process, the mirror work, and the dream, belief, create on creating a new life. So it's constantly about that. It's the inner child process, healing the wounds within. It's about loving and understanding yourself. So everything becomes about you, not about arrogance or selfishness, but about you. So it's understanding your magnificence. The first time I was told I was magnificent was after 9/11. I went into a place, I don't know what to call it, the psychiatric ward, because my PTSD went crazy. There were people there for addictions, and I didn't have an addiction. I just couldn't stop crying. I was scared shitless, excuse me. I was activated and I was scared, and I was, it was a really bad experience. The best experience of my life, though, because every single day, the head of the facility, now we're talking about that there's over 300 or 400, not that many. There's about 200 patients that are there, or, I was a patient, so I'll call it that. I'm not going to call myself a client when I'm in that. And the amazing thing about it was so fortunately, because my first husband was in the movie business, I had the best of everything as far as insurance. So I went to a great place, and it was all celebrities, diplomats, people like that. So when I say that, I'm just telling you, it's not the run-of-the-mill place. So when this woman came in, who was the director of the entire facility, a psychiatrist, psychologist, came in, she had both degrees, came in and would look at me in a group of 13 people. So, you've got, how many does that mean? 10, 20? So instead of 20, there's probably 17 groups going on every single day in group therapy, right? And she chose our group, and she chose me. And so that's why I want to tell you the magnificence, because when you utilize this concept for yourself, which is the first thing I do when I get out on a big stage, I say to you, I want to tell you something that nobody has probably ever told you before. And that is that you are magnificent, you're deeply loved, and you're not alone. And these are things that I've developed and learned within myself. So when she would come into that session every single day, and she would sit there just for a few minutes, she wasn't the therapist in charge. She was, the whole facility. She'd say, Mia, do you know that you're magnificent? Mm-hmm. Versus this little love activist, I'm like, we are all magnificent. I am not alone. It's almost like an attitude, right? What I had to learn was I had to pull it into myself and understand what magnificence was. It took me 2 years. I listened to, there's beautiful works out there by many holistic, spiritual, beautiful people. That there was an album I used to listen to about magnificence and about it being a part of who I was. So as I'm listening, and singing the words, it's like it became me. But I had to really understand who I was. So it's that is so powerful to understand that you are magnificent. So the work that I teach is your magnificence. It means everything you do, whether you're doing your hot lemon water, your coffee, your tea in the morning, you're doing it because you are worth it. You are that valuable. That's what shifts us from the regular everyday work into the transformational stage that we catapult out to the world. When I first, I always had this, we all do as humans, we have a dark space in our solar plex that's filled with historical DNA stuff of 30,000 years ago from our fight or flight stage. It's right here in our solar plex until we remove it. That's one of the areas that I work with people on. I work mentally and also on the physical energy level too of the body. But removing that within your solar plex, we all have this space where we can't be alone. I used to never be able to be alone. I'm alone all the time. I want my space. I'm married, and I say to my husband, sorry, I have to have this much time for me. I have to meditate, I have to pray, I have to contemplate, and I have to think, literally. And he's gotten used to it. Same with anybody that's really close to my life. But guess what? They're all like that too now. So it's like a big love fest. We all do our own thing. We all, come together or whatever. I'm saying, people. I'm not saying that there's a love fest here. I want to be clear on that. Monogamy is my thing. Whatever others like, it's okay. I don't judge. It's perfect. So it literally is about our growth of who we are. So then you bring in your mindset helps you do that. So I am a warrior of mindset. I have a program or a course that I teach within everything is called the Art of Warrior Meditation. So when we elevate ourselves up, we're in the alpha state. The American Indians say, their thing is on energy, you need to remain in the alpha. The beta is the land of the living dead. The alpha is a meditative up-leveled state, and so we're moving faster through it. So for a quick analogy, you're in New York City, there's 1 billion people out on the street, okay, a couple million out on the street, and you're walking, and you're moving through this crowded street, everybody's walking back and forth, you know, on the same side of the street. And so you see that somebody has a message for you. You're not going to hear it when you're in the beta as they walk past you because there's just too many people. You have to stop. What? Huh? What'd you say? When you're in the alpha state, you're picking up everything around you faster. So as you're moving through, you can hear exactly what they're saying and you move on by. So it's that up-leveling of who you are, that conscious awareness. So clearing your thoughts all the time. There's exercises that I teach about who you are and your magnificence. And you know, a lot of it is affirmational mantras, you know, so an affirmation is something we say, a mantra is something we repeat and bring into us, you know, it's who we are. So as I used to think, oh, affirmations are stupid, you know, when I first got into this, because the metaphysical side was like, you know, your connection to God, and that's all there is to it. I mean, it's deeper than that. But so literally, it's about understanding and reprogramming who you are. This is why I say setting new patterns in your brain. What comes out of your mouth? Guess who hears it first? You do.
Yeah.
It settles into your body. So within the morning of waking up, we have within the first 2 hours, 17 negative things, at least minimum, on the small end, what we say to ourselves. It's about stopping that. It's about understanding who you are. So I usually put routines with people and rituals. You know, I recommend, this is the ritual routine to get your life together. I'll give you a quick nugget here. Wake up happy. How do you do that? I have on my website, there's a CD that's Restful Intentions. You reprogram yourself the night before. You wake up being happy. You smile literally before you get out of bed. Guess what? You smile. And it throws these oxytocins and the synapses start to trigger. You're shifting the energy of who you are. So it's not fake it till you make it. I dislike that term. It's about creating who you are, being who you are. So you smile before you get up. I lay in bed now if I don't have to go to the bathroom, and I meditate. You know, so you could go back. But I talk about smiling before your feet hit the floor. And as you go into the bathroom, do your mirror work. 2 to 3 minutes a day. And I'm not going to say you can only do it 3 days a week, because people are like, can I do it 3 days a week? And I'm like, no, because then you're going to forget on day 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you're going to forget day 1, 2, and 3, I should say. So do it all the time until you feel you grow. This work is not fast, meaning that it can shift and change you quantum style very fast. But don't be a racehorse. Allow yourself a year or two. Literally, it could be 6 months. Do the work for you. Remember, any athlete, ballerina, musician, they practice. Why do you think they're masters? So we become, in Love Mastery, what I teach, we become masters of love. It starts with self, which connects us to our spirit and soul, and we emulate it outwards. And that's how we begin to understand, like a beacon, what unconditional love is. So you get up, you get to the bathroom, you do your mirror work before or after the bathroom, you go to the toilet, and you say, I love you. Now, you don't say your name, because soul doesn't have a name. We've been many names. I love you. And you're connecting. You're looking at your eyes. And if you can look at your whole face, great. Stop the negativity. Record what's going on. You want to go back and see what's happening. There's information on the free video series that can explain more about all the things that would support you, why it's important to keep a journal of it, because you can track it back later. I'm a hindsight person. That's how we recognize patterns. That's how we can see ahead of time, like the mysticism. People are like, you have so much magic and this and that. It's like, I've practiced and I've become proficient. And so when I teach mystics their gifts, when we pull out their mystical gifts, because people don't know what they have, as a clairvoyant, I see things, and we start to develop and we work on them, and then we go into other stuff. It's the same thing. You keep a journal so you know where you've been and where you're going. Then you can start to see who you are and the patterns and the awakening and the everything becomes more of a feeling sensation rather than just an auditory, right? So your whole body is on fire with everything. And this is how we connect to ourselves. We become a soulful, sensual being, because what is sensuality? It's about being in your body and being with your touch. So after your mirror work, go put on your coffee, your tea, your hot lemon water, but do it with the awareness that it's for you and that you are worth it. The moment you can stand there over the stove, turn it on, and just breathe for a moment, this is amazing. This is for me. I'm an amazing individual. And then stop and see how that feels. Some people cry at first. Some people are elated, but it will settle in. The first time I realized how great I was as far as that connection to myself, I'm not saying I'm a great person. I'm saying I am. You are. Everybody is.
We all are.
Exactly. My connection to me, all of a sudden, I left the kitchen. I started walking through the living room, and I felt this little butterfly thing inside me. And I went, oh my gosh, that's like I'm looking at a hot dude, you know? Because I was like, whoa, I think I really am starting to understand what love is about. Now, there, you know, as we grow, we understand that there's different elements of the butterfly syndrome and all this within us. That's another topic. So after that, you just literally have to watch what you're thinking. I recommend people set their alarms 3 times a day to start out. When the alarm goes off, you look at it, check mindset. What am I thinking? Oh, I was just yelling at my mom in my head. Okay, got to stop that crap, because if we are yelling and having arguments in our head, what are we doing? We're bringing in negative energy that doesn't support the situation. You need to reverse it. You need to remove that energy. You need to clear it away. One, it'll shift their energy too, believe it or not, and it'll make you stay in that state of grace, literally. So you do this, you do the work all the time because it's who you want to be, and then eventually it is who you are. And it really is magnificent. I don't say you have to meditate, you know, an hour, 3-4 hours a day. That's not what it's at. It's about clearing yourself. Even in the morning, you can do 5 minutes, 20 minutes. And at night, it's about clearing yourself, clearing yourself, clearing yourself. Quick recommendation for the mirror work. The reason I recommend it in the morning, 1, it sets your day, and 2, at the end of the day, when you're first getting started on all this stuff, your mindset is very negative. You've been out in public, you've been driving or taking the train, whatever, you know, to get home. You're stressed out, you're this shit. What do you think the first words out of your mouth are when, or your thoughts will be when you say, I love you? It's not going to be, I know. It's going to be, you know, you did this.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So you do it. And then if that's the case, if that's the only time you can do it, then meditate first and clear who you are. And then look at yourself in the mirror. Also, when you recognize, if you are, and I'm sure everybody on this show will be, because this is who we attract, and that's also the title of the show, but when we are being connected to our higher self, to the divine, to God, to creator, to source, whatever terminology you want to give this magnificent, infinite spiritual energy that we have flowing through us, when you recognize that connection, that you are the reflection, the image and likeness, how less can you be? You can only go up. You can only show your magnificence. If you want mankind, so this is how I started years ago. I remember doing it, gosh, maybe 25 years ago, maybe 20, when I first started on this major journey, which I think is like 30 something years ago. But I remember there was a point where I had to go see my high school boyfriend. Remember, I got married at 18, not him. So my high school boyfriend, I was in my 30s at this point. My kids were babies. And his mother was dying. And since we were all so close for so many years, I needed to see her. And so, of course, I saw him, and I was very nervous because I actually had gained weight when I first got married on purpose to keep men away from me. So because I had been raped, I had been stalked, I had been touched, and men were coming on to me like firecrackers, and my husband liked it because I remember saying to him, this is what triggered me to destroy my body, or me to think I wanted to destroy my body, was I said to him, can you please make them stop? Just tell them to stop. All I wanted to feel was that I was loved and taken care of. And he said, no, I like it. I like the attention you get. He was older. I didn't know I was a trophy wife. But so my point is that we need to feel secure and stuff. So when I was supposed to see these people from my past, I was scared because I didn't want to be rejected, right? You know, I hadn't really developed my self-love skills to the way they are now, where I walk in a room and I command it, even if I was, 7 feet tall and, I don't know, 20 feet wide. I have no idea. But I remember as I was getting ready, and it's a good practice for us today, I sometimes implement it in just because it's fun, understanding my connection and that mankind will see me how God sees me in that beautiful reflection. You know what happened?
Mm.
That was the most beautiful experience I had. He was like, oh my God, you're so gorgeous still. You know, I've missed you. And she was just like, look at you. You're just such a beauty. And it was incredible. Here I felt like I was not, but actually they were seeing me. Maybe then, maybe I wasn't seeing myself right.
Yeah.
And the divine lightness that came through me, the light that started to come. That's one of the first experiences of light coming from me that I understood so clearly. So it's just really powerful. So
Yeah.
powerful.
I really like when you say to see how the divine will see you, to see yourself how the divine will see you, or mankind will see you. It's just way above our chitter chatter and all of that. You know, nothing else matters in that moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Um, I also wanted to say that I really like when you say about the fact that it is a practice and we need to do it every day. You know, we are so caught into, you know, the quick fix, you know, we used to, you know, ready to eat and all of that, you know, like the lifestyle is so busy. And I think the women have to understand the fact that everything requires practice and transformation requires space to grow. It's just not like this all the time. So thank you so much for reiterating and showing us like how you've been doing it, you know, throughout your lifetime. So it wasn't like yesterday, you know, it's a journey.
It wasn't the running the no, you know.
Yeah.
I worked it.
So Mia, share us what your free gift is. You've been talking about it, but yeah.
So on my website, and I know that the link will be provided to you,
Yeah.
information, but on my website is the book Mirror, Mirror, Step-by-Step Guide to a Life That Loves You Back. So it's a digital download copy. It's also available on Amazon, but get it off my site. It's incredible because it takes you through 4 processes that literally will change your life, including the one that's so vitally needed. And that's when we begin to do our spiritual work and move forward, and the dogs are going cuckoo. Excuse the background noise. As we start to grow and elevate, what happens? We get this syndrome of I've fallen and I can't get up. You know, it's like, bam, I'm back, you know, back in bed for 6 months, or I'm, you know, disjointed, or I've left the journey. You know, I've left my journey. So Deep Pockets literally helps you get out instead of waiting 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, 6 centuries. You're out of that space. So it's helping you to hop back. So it's really wonderful to experience these things on your developmental journey. It's really beautiful. And I love that book. You know, I mean, it's just really powerful. It's not very big. It's 38 pages. It's great. It's fabulous. And the big book will come out in 2019, which is lovely.
Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome. So I will, of course, have the links to downloads, and I really, really highly recommend every woman to go ahead and check her work out, because I've been following. I have downloaded that as well, and I've gone through the book. I have it as a PDF, and I love the graphics, I must say, as well. It's just so juicy. You must check that out. So to close, Mia, I've been asking this question to every single guest in this online temple, and I want to ask you as well is, what do you think rising feminine is at this point in your life or in the world, according to you?
Rising feminine is us. It's breaking through the human and living the divine.
Yes.
And integrating them both together, because we can't forget one and not the other. We are human and spirit combo, whether we like it or not, right? So it's the integration of the human and spirit living a divine, beautiful life.
Oh my God, that feels so exciting already. Thank you so much, Mia, for your presence and sharing your wisdom and all your life stories. That will be so beneficial for women going through similar stuff, because all of our stories are so similar. So thank you so much for your presence.
Thank you for having me. Beautiful.